Concentrate on the Divine Master and pray for the welfare of the whole humanity. Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Om Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avadara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. In every page of the Gospel, Sri Ramakrishna has given pointed instructions for the spiritual aspirants to follow. He has given various types of instructions. He has clearly pointed out the essentials in our spiritual path. If your spiritual life were to achieve the result, the very first essential thing is that you should have unshaking spiritual aspiration. It starts from there. You should not keep on changing. That means Sri Ramakrishna tells in very clear terms, set the goal, hold on to that till you reach it. So, Sri Ramakrishna teaches that you should have unshakable buddhi. No matter how many sorrows, afflictions, dangers and obstacles one may be faced with, one's mind does not undergo any change. It is like the blacksmith's anvil which receives constant blows from hammer and still remains unshaken. And secondly, very strong grit. That means you have to develop stability in your life. Sthirata, it is said in the Sanskrit. So, your success depends on your stability. You must not give way to hardships, to dangers, to whatever that might come and cross you. You shouldn't be frightened by them. On the other hand, you must become more and more stable, more and more strong. That's the meaning of the Upanishadic statement, Na yamatma balahinena labhyaha. The Atman cannot be attained by the unstable people. you should have stability. So stability factor is foremost in the spiritual life. So we are dealing with that subject. Last time I gave several instances how the great men like Buddha, Swami Vivekananda proved their stability. In no age, in fact, was life easy when it was being lived through. A time is not conceivable when it was or will be all milk and honey with no pricks and lashes. Sri Krishna, he was always smiling, veritable God himself. He was forced by realities obtaining here to describe the world as dukkhalayam ashashvatam. In the chapter 8, verse number 15, Lord Krishna says this, dukkhalayam ashashvatam. That is, it is impermanent. It is the impermanent abode, this world, which is full of miseries. And again in another place, chapter 9, verse number 33, Lord Krishna describes this world, anityam asukham lokam. He is very precise about what he tells. This world is transient, joyless. These are the facts, the ground reality, we should say. Now, in Buddha's life we find, life impressed the Prince Siddhartha before he became Buddha as being like the painful condition of a man struck with a poisonous arrow. On becoming the Buddha, after the attainment of illumination, in the first sermon he gave at Sarnath, what did he give? His main theme was the misery basically involved in life and how to get rid of it. He thought it to be an all-important problem, so much so that he refused to discuss metaphysics. Once a rich man's son secretly rose up at night and came to Buddha. This incident happened in Benares. As he drew near Buddha's camp, he was uttering in an unconscious soliloquy, "Alas, what distress, what tribulations." These exclamations uttered to himself by a rich man's son voiced the agony which attends in every age. Coming to Lord Christ, he uttered this saving call, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. This is from New Testament. These words underscore the fact that life's crushing burden requires lifting to give people rest if they are to survive as spiritual entities. The very fact that Joseph and Mary had to fly to save the life of baby Christ shows how trying were the times they were living through. We find it difficult even to imagine the horror of all the babies of Bethlehem being put to death at the order of Herod. In Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the great and sacred scriptures, it is stated that a sage points out that a man has to take shelter in God in order to be saved from being swallowed up by the python of endless anxieties and miserable difficulties of life. There was a great Sanskrit poet, his name was Bhartrhari. He was a king, at the same time he was a great scholar. He belonged to 7th century AD. His most famous writings, Vairagya Shatakam, it has got 100 verses, thought-provoking, very nice. You can go through that text. There he says, first I quote the Sanskrit words, then I give you the gist of it. Bhogana bhukta vayameva bhukta, tapona taptam vayameva taptaha, kalona yato vayameva yata, strishna najirna vayameva jirnaha. It has got very great spiritual content. He says in this verse, worldly pleasures have not been enjoyed by us, but we ourselves have been devoured. No religious austerities have been gone through, but we ourselves have been scorched. Time is not gone, being ever present and infinite, but it is we who are gone because of approaching death. Desire is not reduced in force, though we ourselves are reduced to senility, that is old age. In one of the well-known hymns of Shankaracharya, Shivanamavali Ashtakam, the great teacher says, he prays to Lord Shiva, he says, O Lord, rescue me, helpless as I am in the trackless forest of this miserable world. These examples show that even in good old days, everything was not so good as is supposed, and that anxieties and worries were pretty endemic in the world. They are there all the time. Mankind has gone through so many revolutions. American Revolution, French Revolution, Industrial Revolution, Russian Revolution, Indian Revolution, the revolution in Far Eastern countries like Indonesia, Indochina, Burma, Vietnam, the Chinese Revolution, and the revolutions in the African countries. How many revolutions? These revolutions which have changed the course of history in far-reaching ways and shaped the affairs of our times were all the products of ideas. Ideas, they are responsible for all these revolutions. They upset traditional norms and forms of life and thought, and released in the world powerful forces which have since kept the world on the tiptoe of uncertainty. The mounting complexities of life are dogged by a sense of insecurity everywhere. Over all these worries, tensions, frustrations and fears hovers an appalling sense of futility. The result is the general inner instability of the average modern man. We are just pinpointing what is happening and how we should correct it. How it is very important that we should be stabilized. That's the point. But the greatest of all revolutions, which is likely to have a more far-reaching and pervasive effect on mankind than any of the revolutions mentioned, is the second industrial revolution. The automation and use of electronic computers and so on. Before man has learned how to cope with unthinking machines, he finds himself having to cope with thinking ones. Of this development, millions of people may not yet be aware. Nonetheless, they will be required to face the impact of a power which may be possessed of intelligence and may not be friendly. What effect this may have on the common man's mind is not yet evident. Again, practically speaking, today we live in the open of one world in spite of international or political animosities. Our situation is coming to be such that a shot fired in Vietnam may make somebody's heart bleed in Chicago. An event in Washington may make the stock market in Tokyo rise or fall and cause the rise or fall of a person's blood pressure in Montreal. The significant fact is how closely human beings all over the world have come to be psychologically linked up with one another, all barriers notwithstanding. So the challenge before man today is simply this: outgrow the shell of your tribal or national existence and live the global life or perish. This is going to bring upon man, on top of the stresses and strains he has already known, ever-growing stresses and strains. This new situation is going to be one of the most crucial tests of man, on which his very survival will depend. Changes in perspective and attitude alone will not do, though undoubtedly they will be very helpful. What will be most urgently needed will be the discovery of the individual within himself of such an inexhaustible source of strength as no change in the outer world can really affect. At any time, with any individual, this will be the secret of creatively facing one's future. In other words, one of the most crucial issues before modern man is how to achieve inner stability. We may perhaps ignore many issues of life and remain unaffected, but this crucial issue we can ignore only at personal peril. So, how important it is to develop inner stability. You have to give thoughts to that, and you must become more and more stable. So, the next question is, how do we achieve inner stability? So far, we have come to know the importance of inner stability, how stability is essential in our spiritual path. To keep the aspiration strong, you must have stability. So this we shall consider according to the most ancient spiritual wisdom of man, with special emphasis on the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. We will indicate some simple teachings with the help of which every one of us can build up such inner stability as will enable him to withstand in a creative manner any foreseeable and unforeseeable shock that modern life may bring at any time. So here Gita comes to our immediate rescue. Bhagavad Gita. Tremendous spiritual power in Lord Krishna's teachings you find in the Gita. It's called Yoga Shastra, a scripture which teaches the methods of attaining illumination or union with God. It's also called Brahma Vidya, a scripture which teaches the knowledge of Brahman or the ultimate reality. Not only that, Bhagavad Gita also contains profound lessons on human psychology. What is more, in the Gita is also demonstrated a wonderful technique of psychotherapy. So, all our attention must be focused on the Gita. Its message is global, teachings are universal. The Gita, it was taught by Shri Krishna to Arjuna. Where? On the battlefield of Kurukshetra. On the eve of the bloodiest civil war fought in India. Arjuna was the general of the aggrieved royal family which had been thrown out of their rightful kingdom by their scheming cousins. When all means of peaceful and honorable settlement were exhausted, war was declared. All the princes, heroes and fighting men of the time joined one or other side. Shri Krishna, he was related to both parties. He gave his army to the aggressive party. He himself, Lord Krishna, unarmed, undertook to drive the chariot of Arjuna, of the aggrieved party, whose was the righteous cause. Here we find when Arjuna asked Lord Krishna to take his chariot on the battlefront so that he could survey all the army generals grouped there to know who is who. And Lord Krishna brought the chariot, and Arjuna saw every one of them in the opposite camp who are ready to start the war. Suddenly, a kind of instability crept in Arjuna's mind. Instability. He was the foremost of the heroes on the Pandava side. And Lord Krishna himself was a chariot vehicle, chariot's driver. He was a Sarathi. He is called Partha Sarathi. Partha means Arjuna. Sarathi means who was the driver of Arjuna's chariot. But then, for some reason or other, instability was just rising its head in the heart of Arjuna. Up to that time, he was a very great hero with robust energy, strong will and so on. But since that instability stepped in, he was losing his strength. He was becoming desperate, depressed. He got confused about what is right, what is wrong. He was confused about the duties to perform. And he began to propagate a kind of philosophy. And Lord Krishna immediately came to know these dangerous thoughts coming into Arjuna's mind. If Lord Krishna were not there, we don't know what would have happened. So here Lord Krishna gives his astounding teachings, removed all his weaknesses, made him stable, and made him fight the evil. In a way, He made him understand the significance of sacrifice. In order to uphold dharma, one has to sacrifice oneself. Sometimes the evil force becomes so strong, you have to give strong treatment to uproot that. So Arjun's position is very important. At this juncture, it was not at all proper for him to shake. He was literally shaken. A kind of fear grabbed his heart. He became paralyzed, as it were. The bow and arrow which he was holding in his hand, it just slipped down. Virtually he was collapsing. So here Lord Krishna comes there and gives most invaluable teachings, made him act in the way he should act. He taught him what is dharma, what is adharma, what is right, what is wrong, how one should perform one's duty. Every stage has to be passed through before a person attains the goal. So, you have to go very cautiously in your life's journey. Anyway, it's very inspiring how Bhagavad Gita helps us to become very stable. There is a devotee well known to us. For some reason, that devotee is in a state of instability, I should say. Her whole personality is unstable. She cannot think properly, she cannot do work properly, she cannot concentrate properly, she cannot do anything properly. It's a terrible state. So many factors are there why that particular person forced into that position. But the point is, that devotee was telling, Swamiji, as long as I keep Bhagavad Gita on my hand, I seem to be stable. I keep on reading it, I feel myself peaceful and calm. But the moment I close the Gita, then all the things I don't know where were they sitting, they all come and just attack me, make me miserable. So the point is, how true it is. Bhagavad Gita gives tremendous stability to our thinking, to our doing things. But you must have initial strength to put up with all hardships and problems in the life. It is important. And if you are aware of the weakness, then there is hope. You can overcome that weakness. Anyway, since the subject is very important, I want to deal with this subject in a very elaborate way. So, I would like to continue this topic again next Tuesday, the same topic, stability. What Sri Ramakrishna says, you must have unshakable buddhi, a strong grit. These are the two important things which we should give attention to. And once you become stable, you are sure to get success in your path. And you will definitely enjoy peace and bliss. Stability is the foundation. Become strong, become stable. That's the point. Become strong. Chapter 29, page 558. The Durga Puja festival. Sri Ramakrishna had come to Calcutta. It was the first day of the Durga Puja, the great religious festival. And the Hindus of the metropolis were celebrating it. The master intended to visit the image of the Divine Mother at others' house He also wanted to see Shivanath, the Brahmo devotee. It was about midday, umbrella in hand. M was pacing the footpath in front of the Brahma Samaj temple. 2 hours had passed, but the master had not yet appeared. Now and then, M sat down on the steps of Dr. Mahalaniva's dispensary and watched the joy and mirth of the people, young and old, who were celebrating the puja. A little later, after 3, the master's carriage drove up. As soon as Sri Ramakrishna stepped out, he saluted the temple of the Brahma Samaj with folded hands. Hazra and a few other devotees were with him. M bowed before the master and took the dust of his feet. The master told him that he was going to Shivanath's house. A few minutes later, several members of the Brahma Samaj came and took him to Shivanath's. But Shivanath was not at home. Shortly afterwards, Vijay Goswami, Mahalanavish, and several other Brahmo leaders greeted the master and took him inside the Brahmo temple. Sri Ramakrishna was in a happy mood. He was given a seat below the altar. There, the Brahmo devotees sang their devotional music. Vijay and the Brahmo devotees sat in front of the master. Master said to Vijay with a smile, "I was told that you had put up a signboard here that people belonging to other faiths are not allowed to come in." Narendra too said to me, "You shouldn't go to the Brahma Samaj. You had better visit Shivanath's house." But I say that we are all calling on the same God. Jealousy and malice need not be. Some say that God is formless and some that God has form. I say, let one man meditate on God with form if he believes in form, and let another meditate on the formless deity if he does not believe in form. What I mean is that dogmatism is not good. It is not good to feel that my religion alone is true and other religions are false. The correct attitude is this: my religion is right, but I don't know whether other religions are right or wrong, true or false. I say this because one cannot know the true nature of God unless one realizes Him. Kabir used to say, "God with form is my mother, the formless is my father. Which shall I blame? Which shall I praise? The 2 pans of the scales are equally heavy." Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Shaktas, Shaivas, Vaishnavas, Brahmagyanis of the time of the Rishis, and you, the Brahmagyanis of modern times, all seek the same object. A mother prepares dishes to suit the stomachs of her children. Suppose a mother has 5 children and a fish is bought for the family. She does not cook pilau or kalaya for all of them. All have not the same power of digestion. So she prepares a simple stew for Sam, but she loves all her children equally. Do you know my attitude? Sri Ramakrishna continued. I love all the preparations of fish. I have a womanly nature. I love. I feel myself at home with every dish: fried fish, fish cooked with turmeric powder, pickled fish, and further I equally relish rich preparations like fish head, kalia and pilau. All laugh. Do you know what the truth is? God has made different religions to suit different aspirants, times and countries. All doctrines are only so many paths, but a path is by no means God Himself. Indeed, one can reach God if one follows any of the paths with wholehearted devotion. Suppose there are errors in the religion that one has accepted. If one is sincere and earnest, then God Himself will correct those errors. Suppose a man has set out with a sincere desire to visit Jagannath at Puri and by mistake has gone north instead of south, then certainly someone meeting him on the way will tell him, "My good fellow, don't go that way, go to the south." And the man will reach Jagannath sooner or later. If there are errors in other religions, that is none of your business. God, to whom the world belongs, takes care of that. Our duty is somehow to visit Jagannath. To the Brahmos He said, "The view you hold is good indeed. You describe God as formless, that's fine. One may eat a cake with icing, either straight or sidewise. It will taste sweet either way. But dogmatism is not good." We shall stop here. So what is required is sthirata. Be strong and stable. Then you will see the wonders in the life. Don't allow your mind to be shaken. Then you will collapse. That's the truth. Now, any questions? You are welcome to ask. That time taking the next class, you must be here next week also. Important in spiritual life. You must know that. When it is important for householders, how much more it should be important for the monks. Yeah. So the point is, build up your strength. We are not given thoughts towards that end. We are simply going on in whatever direction the life takes. That's not the way. You must fix the direction of the life. There comes the point of aspiration. Your aspiration is not simply to become a world famous engineer or world famous businessman. What is that? Everything is gone when the life is gone. But it's all right to earn your livelihood, you have to earn. Perfectly all right. Perfectly all right to aspire to become a world-renowned person. But it should not degrade the spiritual value for which you have been born. We have forgotten the purpose for which we have born here. We are born here not simply to become an engineer, doctor or a businessman or attorney. Anybody can become that. It's not a big achievement. Achievement is how far you are able to move forward in your spiritual path. That is the achievement. There is no other way to tell you the truth. If you have to enjoy really the peace and bliss, you have to take up the spiritual course. No, achieving stability, of course I am touching that subject very systematically, point by point in my next class. All this, last time also I spoke about this stability factor. In a way, it's a introduction to the main points which I am going to talk about. Simply hearing the sermon will not help you. It helps you temporarily. Just like I gave an example, a devotee was holding the Bhagavad Gita. As long as she was holding, she was feeling very comfortable, peaceful, etc. The moment she closed it, she became sad, and because the mind has been in that frustrated condition, the devotee has allowed the mind to drift into that state, and it has been there for sufficiently long time, so it's not easy to simply take it up like that. It helps, no doubt, but it requires from your side practical application of what you have heard. That means it requires constant thinking and constant association. That means you can build up stability only when you seriously concentrate upon these spiritual ideas, and when you become really aware of these things, and then it's possible. It is not impossible. It is really possible. Everything is in our hands. But you have to pass through that process of stabilization. In one way, the things happening to you in the life, they provide the opportunities for you to become strong, to become stable. You have to, otherwise you will collapse. But if you know it, I must be strong, I must not yield to these troubles, hardships, I must be like an anvil. If you have that idea in your mind, then that strengthens you. You are not overpowered by those hardships or difficult circumstances or situations. They do come. But then face the challenges. Then you are the hero. And your stability aspect is tested in a way when you are passing through these crises. It's a testing situation. One way or other, we are always being tested. But test, no, one should not impose. No, the point is this. We should put it in this way. It's better to discuss, have a discussion, and then take the examples of those who have lived that life and who have built up that stability in their life. That's important. Suppose you study the life of Vivekananda. Then really you appreciate what stability means. If you study Sri Ramakrishna's life, if you study Buddha's life, they were not shaken by any kind of worldly things, even though they all came and attacked in so many ways. So these are all examples. That's why when they speak about stability, as and when they speak, immediately they go deep into our heart, because they're all words they have lived through that life. They have lived through, so their teachings are full of meaning and full of power. That's the idea. And take the ideas are there spread out. You take whatever that is possible for you to take such ideas, try to practice them in your own way, then feel the benefit of them. Imposing is different thing. Imposing, it has got negative value. Suppose you force it upon a person, you don't. But a guru discipleship is different. There, the disciple has accepted the goal, and he has accepted the guru, and he has got full confidence in the guru, and so he follows whatever guru says. There is no question. The moment you question the guru, that means that to that moment you are damaging yourself, because to that extent your confidence in guru is gone. That should never happen. The guru-disciple relationship is extremely important in the spiritual path. Of course, the guru also must be very good in every respect. That's also true. There's no two opinions in that point. So guru's character and his stability, they all inspire the disciples to follow. And so then it makes his struggle little easier. And whenever the disciple feels some kind of problems in his life, he runs to the guru and he faces the problems in front of him, and he tells, look, do this way, you'll be all right. No, that's also true. See, how many people in this world, they really think in this way. So even to think, I must need a person, I must need some guidance, that itself is a good sign. That itself is a sign of making yourself stable. You are really hankering after that. Once you see the Guru, once you are in his company, once you hear his teachings and so on, then slowly you feel a kind of inner peace in yourself. That's a sign of stability. Once you feel that peacefulness in your heart, then you won't feel any negative effect. It is just like even though mother suffers so much to raise the children, but suffering is nothing for her. She tells it's a joy, because her joy is in raising the child. Whatever the difficulties she may come across, they are nothing. So that sacrificing attitude is one of the factors to make yourself stable. The more you are selfless, the more stable you become. Anyway, there are so many factors, so many methods are there, which I am really taking, at least I am giving the outlines of how to achieve stability. Let us see. Then we should be able to have some stability in our approach. We want stability, but we won't do anything regarding that. If you aspire, you want to become President of America, that also must be there. First, the aspiration must be there. Then you will work through it. You have to go and you have to see how you got elected. It's a big process. But the initial step is that aspiration should be there. In the same way, first of all, you must have strong spiritual aspiration, and you must feel stability is an important factor. I should become more and more stable. Whatever the factors that are responsible for making me unstable, drive them out. To drive them out, you require little courage. That means you have to build up courage. So they all go chain. It's like a chain. Anyway, it's an interesting subject. Life itself is interesting. If you do it in a proper way, it's interesting. And we feel time is too short. But anyway, nothing is lost. Name bhakta pranashyati, Bhagavan says in the Gita. My devotee is never perished. If you have devotion to God, that itself makes you more stable, more strong, and in course of time, you'll be a wonderful person. You become more and more stable. The stability, there is no limit for stability. More stable, more stable. You see, that's the beauty of this creation. Take anything, it goes to infinity. Do you think that science is over? So many scientists are working in the world. Still there are things to explore. That means everything, whatever subject you deal with, goes to infinity. Well, it's all right. So become more. The more strong you become, the more deeply you enjoy the peace and bliss. You really enjoy it, not simply a surface enjoyment. No, the whole being, you feel you're simply in ecstasy. So that's the point. So stability, what I am trying to impress is to achieve success in whatever life you are, you must have stability. And what to speak about spirituality. So you must have unshakable buddhi, Sri Ramakrishna says. So the world provides you so many opportunities so that you may become stable. But all these things have value only when you have set your aspiration in a proper place. If you have aspiring for worldly things, I don't know how far the stability helps you to get over worries, tensions, and all sorts of things associated with the worldly things. But it has got tremendous value if you have spiritual aspiration. Then whatever the things that might happen because of your contact in the world, because you are being associated with so many people of so many temperaments, and you have to, because you are in that worldly current, definitely situations do come. But then because your attitude and outlook, they are different. So you look upon everything from spiritual point of view, then it makes you more strong and more stable. That should help you to go towards the goal. The goal is to know the truth. The truth is to know who you are. That's the point. Once you know I am that, then you will be in perpetual peace and bliss. To know I am that requires lot of struggles. It's only through struggle only you have to reach the place. What is tapas? Tapas is nothing but struggle. What is austerity? Nothing but struggle. So you should not rest until you reach the goal. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, Uttishtata jagrata prapyavaran nibodhata. Rise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. Rise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. The goal is to realize your true self. Who am I? That's all. Thank you. She'll stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean, and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take to honor thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stillest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous reign tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear, may the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.